Australia is one of the best places to live in the world. It's been established beyond a doubt, especially amongst Hong Kong and Chinese people. It has friendly kangaroos, friendly koalas, and friendly spiders. But recently, the property market has been very unfriendly.
Never in my wildest dreams did I think that we would not be able to get a house.
And now flooding in the northern rivers has added more pressure to a rental market already in crisis.
House prices are going to fall by 30 to 40% in Sydney and across Australia.
What is happening? And what can you do amidst this property crisis? Hey, don't forget to subscribe to keep up with our real estate insights. As of this video, Sydney ranks just behind Hong Kong as the second most unaffordable housing market in the world, as average house prices have almost tripled in Australia over the last 20 years. Just in 2021, Darwin's median dwelling price increased by 21%, followed by 19.6% in Hobart and 18.1% in Canberra. What exactly led to the exploding property prices in Australia? When it comes to real estate, the answer to
what the hell is going on
almost always boils down to supply versus demand, and a sprinkle of COVID. Here's two key things that define Australia's situation. In November 2020, the Australian government was deep in pandemic trenches, combating inflation and employment rates. The Reserve decided to cut interest rates to historical lows at 0.10%. And suddenly, Australians had unprecedented access to mortgage loans. So what do? You guessed it. The result is a surge in demand that led to soaring property prices. In just 2 years, the total value of Australia's residential real estate has increased by 2.6 trillion Australian dollars. Hold up. Other countries have been cutting rates and passing out incentives too. So why is Australia in trouble for doing the same? The distinguishing problem is the lack of supply. During the mining boom in the 2000s, an influx in immigration pushed up housing demand, but supply did not keep up with this increase in population, as house prices jumped by 88% in the noughties. Today, poor housing supply continues to plague the country. With that in mind, how are things looking in 2022? Uncertain. That's probably the best way to put it. Some say the property value would keep rising and affordability would be a problem for new buyers. The National Australia Bank forecasts a 4.9% lift in property values, and the Commonwealth banks expect a 7% rise in house prices. Others whisper of a bubble brewing. Rising debt levels mean financial instability, and that could point to a potential drop in house prices. There's also an expectation that the Reserve may raise interest rates, which could lower property demand and further push down prices. Then there's the federal elections, which are only a month away. Like in 2019, home ownership could be a central issue that drives polls, and any proposed policy changes will have a huge impact on market sentiment.
Both sides claiming they're the only ones that can be trusted to keep prices under control.
A country facing similar problems is Canada, whose property market could be a carbon copy of Australia's. The government there recently banned foreigners from buying houses for 2 years, even though they only make up 3% of home ownership. It's a similar story in Australia, where foreign investors made up only 3.7% new home sales and 2.2% established homes in 2021. Despite that, more than 80% of Australians blame Chinese investors for the rising house prices. So, could a foreigner ban be a possibility in the upcoming months? What do you think? Let us know in the comment below. Here's a summary. House prices are overvalued and affordability is high. The property bubble might be about to burst, and there's uncertainty around foreign regulations. If you're looking to buy, it might not be the best time to enter the market. However, if you're looking to sell, the opposite might be true. The timing is perfect because, number 1, price growth is starting to slow down, which indicates a market peak. Number 2, there's an expectation of a rate rise by August 2022, which means buyers would want to buy a property before that happens. Number 3, the upcoming election may slow down the market as there will be less market activities until things are settled. While locals may struggle to afford housing, property developers would still target foreigners who work or study in Australia. It's a good idea to move soon if you are planning to do so and build up your mortgage credentials. In 2022, the government has lowered threshold for several visa subclasses, including those for Hong Kong or BNO passport holders. We will be covering more details in the future episodes. Keep an eye on alternative markets and subscribe for more videos breaking down the Australian property scene. Stay tuned by signing up to our newsletter and following our social media pages.